Ilia Topuria has already started training for his next big test, and this one is a dangerous matchup. He is getting ready to face Justin Gaethje at the White House event, a fight many people expect to be pure chaos. Gaethje always brings pressure and power, while Topuria has been on a dominant run. Some fighters and analysts have already shared their thoughts on how this fight could play out. Here's what they had to say. Michael Bisping looked at the White House fight between Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje as the matchup that actually makes sense right now. In his view, all the noise around Islam Makhachev distracted people from the fact that the fight being booked is already a huge one. Topuria is the interim champion and one of the most dangerous punchers in the sport, and Gaethje is known for chaos every time he fights. Bisping also spent time talking about how dangerous Topuria's power is heading into the fight. He pointed out that if Topuria connects clean, things can end quickly, even against someone as tough as Gaethje. At the same time, Bisping made it clear that Gaethje always shows up prepared and will build a serious game plan for a fight this big.
But let's talk about this real quick. Now, first things first, the fight that should happen and is happening, thankfully, is Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje, okay? Never mind Islam Makhachev. I know that would be a tremendous fight, and we'd all love to see that. And I would like to see them finally settle this beef that kind of Topuria started, just going after Islam. And I get it. That's what you got to do. You got to chat shit. You got to talk big. You got to try and generate hype to get the biggest fights, because you want to get in, make some money, and get out as fast as possible. Like Conor McGregor said back in the day, right?
Get in, get rich, get out.
And Topuria is doing just that. I mean, look at the run that he is on. By the way, if he knocks out Justin Gaethje at the White House, then respectfully to Justin Gaethje, there's a good chance that that happens, because the punching power is just different. It really is. And Justin Gaethje got cracked off Paddy Pimblett multiple times. You never know. I'm not counting out Justin. He's going to do a great training camp, and I'm sure he'll come up with a great...
Another point Bisping raised was the run Topuria has been on recently. He talked about how knocking out big names one after another changes the way people view a fighter. If Topuria manages to stop Gaethje as well, it would add another huge name to that streak and push him even further into the spotlight. That possibility is what makes the matchup feel so important heading into the White House event.
Strategy, but one shot from Ilia Topuria can put you to sleep. Just ask the last few people that he knocked out. Who were they? Well, that would be Justin, if it happens. That would be Charles Oliveira. Absolutely flatlined that guy who looked ridiculous against Max Holloway. Before that, it was Max Holloway, right? Stopped him, made it look kind of easy again. And before that, knocked out Volkanovski, right? The man's punching power is on another level. Can you imagine he knocks out Justin Gaethje as well? What a run. Four of the biggest names in mixed martial arts, and he knocks them out one after the other, consecutively even, right?
However, Chael Sonnen defended the idea of the White House card being a bad idea. His point was that people were forgetting who Gaethje really was in the sport. He pointed out that Gaethje had done a lot in the past, including winning the interim title twice and the BMF title. He pointed out that Gaethje was not a random guy put in a fight. He was a fighter with a lot of accolades under his belt because he was a fighter with a reputation as one of the toughest in the division.
We're told that Ilia Topuria is on the heels of everybody. So now he's going to come in against your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. We're completely dismissing Gaethje, which I feel that you're forgetting is a two-time interim champion of the world. Tell me somebody else can make that claim. Who's a BMF champion of the world. Justin Gaethje has captured 3 belts and is going for his 4th. They brought you what they had. You then had other guys that didn't want to compete.
Kamaru Usman looked at the White House main event between Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje as a fight that actually fits the event perfectly. His point was simple. If there was one fighter that absolutely had to be on a big American event like this, it was Gaethje. Usman talked about how Gaethje always shows up to fight and never holds back. He is the type of fighter who is willing to take risks just to make the fight exciting. Because of that reputation, Usman felt it made sense that Gaethje was locked into the card early. The only real question was who he would face, and once Topuria became available, that matchup naturally became the main event.
Fight. Well, first of all, let's just talk about that main event. Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. Of course, this is the fight that we all knew, we all kind of wanted. And Henry, we talked about this before. Justin Gaethje was always on this card. If there was one guy that you stamped as the guy that should be on this card, it's Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje is as American as it is. The guy that delivers the whole time, that delivers every time, as willing to really throw his safety out of the window to go out there and entertain. That's the guy that you put on the marquee, of course. And so Justin Gaethje was always on this card. I think the holdup kind of was, well, we want to see what's going on with Ilia Topuria. Is he going to vacate? Is he going up? Would he fight Islam? Or do we see what's going on with Shu? I think this potential showdown this last weekend, Max or Oliveira, do we see how that turns out, how that plays out? Or Armin. So I think there was a lot of things in play here, but you know, Henry, it is what it is. We have our main event, and I think it's a banging main.
He also pointed out that Gaethje is once again being placed as a big underdog, which is something that has happened to him before. When a fighter keeps hearing that they are supposed to lose, it can push them to perform at a different level. So while Topuria is getting a lot of attention because of his recent run, Kamaru believes Gaethje thrives in these moments where people doubt him. That is part of why he sees this matchup as a very dangerous fight for both men.
And not only is it a banging main event, look at there's odds out already. And it's crazy, these odds. They still have Justin at like a 4-1 underdog? Which is, what was Justin his last fight? He was what is it, a 3-1 underdog their last fight? Something crazy like that. He was the underdog. Justin Gaethje was the underdog. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, these whoever the odds makers are or whatever, I just feel like, you know, the disrespect is there. I mean, even myself, I was an underdog in my fight. You know, the disrespect is there, but it is what it is. You know, that's what we love to do as professional athletes. We like to go in there and we like to really...
Luke Thomas looked at the White House main event between Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje as the logical fight once the division situation is considered. His point was that when you look at the available options, this matchup actually makes sense because of the titles involved. Topuria holds the main belt while Gaethje came in with the interim title from the previous event, so putting them together cleanly settles that situation. Thomas also talked about the style of the matchup and why it should still be entertaining regardless of the politics around the event. In his view, both fighters bring action, so the fight is likely to be intense while it lasts. He pointed out that Gaethje always carries the ability to change a fight with one shot, which keeps the matchup dangerous, even if people are leaning toward Topuria right now. At the same time, he acknowledged that if Topuria wins on a stage this big, it pushes him even further as one of the important names the promotion will build around in the coming years.
Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. Of all the available choices that they have, yes, would have been great to have, you know, Ilia versus Armin or Ilia versus Islam, sure. But in a world where Gaethje is already the interim champion based on UFC 324, this is the fight that has to happen to unify those titles, right? Because Ilia has the normal title and Gaethje has the interim one. The fight will be exciting. I know people were talking like, oh, you can't have an American get stretched on the White House lawn. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. There's absolutely no connection historically to mixed martial arts and, you know, the patriotic trimmings generally. More to the point, like, this is an important fight. You've got an American in it. And if Ilia wins, you're now putting over on one of your sort of more significant cards one of the most important guys currently on your roster, and maybe for the future of it as well.
John Morgan felt the matchup between Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje actually makes sense once you look at what this event is supposed to be. His main point was that this show at the White House is not just about rankings or perfect matchmaking. It is about putting on a huge spectacle. Because of that, having Gaethje in the main event works. Morgan talked about how Gaethje always brings chaos to his fights. Even if he loses, the fight rarely ends quietly.
Be the fight.
I don't want to take away from Islam Makhachev being in this opportunity because he would have deserved it, right? But I do believe that Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria on the White House lawn is not the fight
Doesn't
to
make
make
sense,
there,
yeah.
right? You got to have Justin Gaethje. There's no more red-blooded American wearing the flag going out there than Justin Gaethje, right? Especially knowing that we probably don't have much Justin Gaethje left, right? He's kind of said, I'm kind of nearing the end of it. So to be like, well, we can't do this, but we'll bring him back at Madison Square Garden, or you know, we're some whatever it may be. Like this is one of a kind. So again, not the Islam from a a meritocratic standpoint wouldn't deserve this. Of course he would, man. What he's doing. But I actually do like this fight. I think it was the right fight to make.
Morgan also leaned toward Topuria being the favorite in the actual matchup. He pointed to the run Topuria has been on and the level of fighters he has already beaten. At this point, he sees Topuria as one of the most complete fighters in the sport. The striking is obvious, but Morgan also brought up that people sometimes overlook how solid his grappling is as well. Because of that, he believes it would be very hard for someone to beat Topuria over 5 rounds by simply trying to outfight him technically.
It's fun. I mean,
Sure.
look, if we're being honest about it, just look. Ilia Topuria is the favorite against anybody other than maybe Islam Makhachev right now, and I think that would be a great fight. But I mean, we've seen the run that he's on, the skills he's capable of. He's the favorite here for a reason. If there is somebody, because like, I don't think you want to outpoint Ilia Topuria over 5 rounds. You know what I mean? I don't know, and I think people forget how good his grappling is too. So you might be like, we've seen how great his striking is. You may say, oh, well, what if you had a real dominant wrestler? Like he's a pretty good grappler too.
Well, if last night didn't send you a reminder of that, what he was able to do to Max and what Charles couldn't do to him.
100%,
Holy cow.
right? So I think what you want is somebody that can walk into a battle, take some shots, keep moving forward, and maybe land that big one. That's Justin Gaethje
Justin
in a
Gaethje
nutshell.
can do it.
That's Justin Gaethje in a nutshell. Now, I think most people and experts ahead of it will be picking Ilia Topuria, but that's, again, why I think this was...
Tim Welch looked at the matchup between Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje as a very tough fight for Gaethje, mainly because of the stage of their careers right now. His view was that Topuria will likely come in as a big favorite because he is younger and riding a strong run, while Gaethje is already deep into his career. Still, Welch did not treat it like an easy fight. He pointed out that Gaethje always carries real danger because of how hard he hits and how aggressive his style is. The pressure, the calf kicks, and the ability to wrestle when needed mean he always has ways to make fights ugly and unpredictable.
One of the gnarliest boxers in the UFC. He's going to be a huge, huge favorite versus Justin Highlight Gaethje. Justin Highlight Gaethje, 37 years old. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. 2-fight win streak, but again, you can never count Justin Gaethje out. The dude hits hard. The dude could calf kick you to hell. He can wrestle good. He's well-rounded. Everyone is going to be counting Justin Gaethje out. And if Justin Gaethje can get it done on that night, oh my God, that'll be sweet. Real sweet.
Ilia Topuria has already started preparing for the fight with Justin Gaethje, which shows how seriously he is taking this matchup. Even though the event is still some time away, he is already back in camp and getting ready for the kind of fight Gaethje always brings. That also says a lot about the kind of main event this could turn into. Topuria is coming in with momentum and confidence, while Gaethje is the type of fighter who never shows up for a slow or careful fight. With both guys known for finishing opponents, this matchup has a very real chance of turning into one of those fights people talk about long after the event is over. Let us know who you think wins this one.